report. I am going to be joining Gretchen here on the microphone, bringing you Team Massachusetts versus Team West Virginia, Day 2 Battle of the All-Stars in beautiful Hatfield, Pennsylvania. How are you, Gretchen?
I'm doing great. Not only is Hatfield a beautiful location, but the weather today is cooperating. It's already almost 40 degrees. Can you imagine?
So
and the
exciting.
sun is shining, so we expect to have beautiful weather all day long, but the action is going to be inside here at Inline 309 in Hatfield, Pennsylvania.
Correct. And it is a beautiful day for roller derby. We're going to introduce you to our teams, starting off with Team Massachusetts. Number 2, Pena Colida, hailing from Western Mass Roller Derby. Number 4, Coltascaro from the Boston Roller Derby. 12, Varla Guns from Providence Roller Derby. 31, Smashley Olsen, also with Providence Roller Derby. 33, R2 with Boston Roller Derby. 42, Flying King of Boston Roller Derby. 103, Emily Powolski with Boston Roller Derby. 109, Bella LeBral with Pioneer Valley Roller Derby. 134, Five Penny with Boston Roller Derby. 207, Cruliette Lewis of Boston Roller Derby. Also from Boston, 300, Hard Times, joined by 419, Kiltrosity of Mass Attack, and 777, Hook of Boston, along with 999, Rammy Lammy, that smiling face from Western Mass Roller Derby, and finishing it off with 2787, Dorcas Maximus, Mass Attack Roller Derby.
Rammy Lammy winning a MVP award for her efforts yesterday. Excellent squad there for the Massachusetts All-Stars. Also an excellent squad for the West Virginia All-Stars. We'll be seeing number 12, Bossy from Morgantown Roller Vixens. Number 24, Rita Repulsa, also from Morgantown. Number 77 is JB from the Greenbrier River Rollers. And V-Bomb, number 204, comes from Beckley Area Derby Dames. Number 225 is Bruziana from Morgantown Roller Vixens. 44 will be Frida Gallows from Beckley Area Derby Dames. 37 is McClure from Greenbrier. 88, Flux Decapitator from Ohio Valley Roller Girls. Flux won the MVP for West Virginia in their contest against Ohio yesterday. Number 6 from Dingleberry. Is Dingleberry. She's from Morgantown. Number 27 will be coaching today, Mega Psychotic, along with Rick O'Shea will be taking the coach and bench managing duties. Blozabella from Heart of Appalachia Roller Derby is number 69. Dr. Crusher, number 1701 from Valley of the Derby Dames. Number 80, Bohemian Blasphemy from Morgantown Roller Vixens. Number 33, Captain of the West Virginia All-Stars, Deja Boom from Morgantown. And number 2662, A. Ziegler from the Greenbrier River Rollers.
That is quite the roster. Very exciting. Can't wait to see how things play out on the track today. We're just about getting started.
Well, that first whistle is underway, Banshee.
And we'll have the jammers for you in just a moment. They're a little hidden. I see a little Rammy Lammy in there jamming for Team Massachusetts. But it is 33.
Deja Boom.
Yes, for West Virginia. Taking
Striking
lead.
first in the yellow is West Virginia. In the dark navy is Massachusetts. They may appear to be black on your screen, but it's actually a dark navy. Now engaging the back of the pack is Deja Boom. And we have a defensive scrum.
That is quite the wall coming from Hook and 103. That's Powolski. We have a nice brace going on as well.
Rammy Lammy finally getting out of the pack. A decision has to be made. Deja Blue gets 4 and calls it off, but 4 on the back end for Rammy Lammy. Both teams establishing a little bit of aggressiveness early on.
They are ready. They love the smell of Derby in the morning, and so do I. Okay, getting back out there, Hard Times 300, as you can hear off the house mic. That is Kent the politician, by the way, our tournament head announcer, a lovely gentleman. She is jamming up against.
Oh, and she slides that outside. Hard times immediately. Getting lead jam.
Lead jammer
It's beautiful.
of the contest.
Seeing some hard hits coming from Smashley Olsen up against 77 JB of Greenbrier and Team West Virginia.
Well, JB going to show some speed now, trying to catch Hard Times.
Hot on her tail.
Hard Times wants a little more. JB shoots inside.
And JB, I think, able to steal some points
she
there.
did, in fact, steal 2
He
points.
got 2.
So that pulls the teams
So
within
5 for
2
Hard
now.
Times,
Massachusetts
2
8,
for
West Virginia
JB.
6.
Yes, a very determined roster for
total to
each
8 to
team.
6.
We have Flying King up for Team Massachusetts.
And West Virginia, of course, had a couple of misfortunes befall their all-star team in the week coming before this tournament. Their coach is homesick. He's probably watching right now. As a result, some of their skaters have had to share the bench managing duties throughout the tournament. Flying King immediately asserting lead jam position for Massachusetts.
Yes, and as Gretchen pointed out, when you have a few skaters who step up to the task and handle the bench staff duties, that's teamwork, making that dream work. And again, King breaks through, picking up a few more points. That was another 4 on that second pass.
Flying King shutting out Flux Decapitator on that jam. Nice awareness. And the Massachusetts team and New England Derby in general, from what I've seen, you can back this up, Banshee, a very technically aware, very technically astute brand of derby.
Yes, I'd have to agree. There's a lot of great strategy, and you see a definite focus on the hard skills needed to be a successful skater. We're very lucky to have Boston Roller Derby in our proximity. It's a highly concentrated area, and that is Varla Guns fighting it out at the front of the pack, being brought back by number 204 from West Virginia. That is V-Bomb.
V-Bomb going all the way back. That will draw a track-cutting penalty. We'll see now what Blozabella can do with this. She's wearing the star for the West Virginia All-Stars. You see her there getting up to the front of the pack. Boy, that's tough defense for Massachusetts.
Yes, recycled by Powolski and R2. She's fighting that wall of one from R2 and really pushing to get past that zone of engagement, and she succeeds, picking up lead jammer status.
Took her 55 seconds to do it.
Team Massachusetts was not letting her go easily.
Okay, passive offense at first for West Virginia. They're going to get into a little more active play. 2 points, and Blozabella, most importantly, preserved the power start by calling off that jam when she did. No, I stand corrected, as Massachusetts will be fielding a jammer. That's Rami Lammy at the line for the ladies in Navy.
Yes, Varla Guns was released from the penalty box right at jam's end.
2 points during the power jam. They get a
waiting for the word now on the West Virginia jammer.
And
Nice work by Deja Boom in the pivot position, locking down Rami Lammy for right now. That's Flux Decapitator again for West Virginia.
And despite there was a cut drawn from the 3 wall of Cruliette Lewis, Kiltrosity, and Bella LeBral of Team Massachusetts.
Rami Lammy experiencing a wardrobe malfunction there, but she gets her helmet cover back on securely, becomes lead jammer. Power jam situation for Massachusetts.
It's absolutely fantastic, and thankfully a wardrobe malfunction not in the lane of Janet Jackson.
Quick 5 for Rami Lammy. As you said, up the smiling face.
Yes, we were talking yesterday about how Rami Lammy is always smiling because roller derby is fun, and it most definitely is when you're watching a delight like her.
Well, watching All-Star Roller Derby is its own crusher for West Virginia, forcing that call off, holding tight on the inside line of turn number 2. West Virginia, a very determined team. They will continue to hit hard all game long.
Oh, most definitely. We're seeing lots of action in that pack. And Gretchen, I just wanted to point something out. I know that a recent change for one of our Massachusetts teams that is part of Team Mass is Boston Roller Derby, who Hard Times, our current lead jammer, skates for. They recently had a name change, which is huge. Their league has been rebranded. They were formerly the Boston Derby Dames, but they are now officially Boston Roller Derby.
And Flux Decapitator was released from the penalty box, but has to go back for cutting the track again.
And a hop, skip, jump, and spin coming from Hard Times as she gets past the West Virginia defense.
Boy, R2 and Hook are really collaborating on the defensive and offensive end in the pack for Massachusetts.
Absolutely. Pack skills. I would not want to face that combination of Hook and R2 or Smashley or Powolski.
Well, R2 has the stripe on her helmet, but Hook every bit as important.
Absolutely.
Now, Hard Times looking to add on to this jam. This is the biggest jam of the contest so far.
Yes, it most definitely is. And we're seeing one-footed attempt to get past that last West Virginia defender, but Hard Times forces that call in order to avoid a cut.
Well, that was bossy, getting bossy.
Yes.
On the inside between 3 and 4. Nice work by the West Virginia defense. West Virginia now is going to send Deja Boom to the line, and it's Flying King ready to go for Massachusetts.
Yes, meanwhile, Rita Repulsa of West Virginia did head to the penalty box and didn't quite catch that call.
So it's a pack advantage for Massachusetts.
Indeed.
You can see Massachusetts with a nice lead, but Deja Boom doing what she needed to do.
And despite a big hit from Kiltrosity, Deja Boom proceeds to fly past the pack. She picks up a lead, but King is hot.
Speaking of flying.
Yes, King is hot on her heels.
And Deja Boom going to hit her hips. What does... She gets 3. Oh, a 3-3 tie. Flying King showing their speed, coming in at the end, closing the gap.
That's just it. King does fly, and they have such great footwork skills. That combination is just amazing.
JB on the line now for West Virginia. Again, if you're just tuning in, West Virginia in the yellow and Massachusetts in the navy.
Yes, and JB is facing off against Varla Guns of Team Massachusetts. Seeing a nice, tight, braced wall up front from Team Mass, taking JB to the back, extending that pack.
Well, that was Pena Colida with some offensive blocking there that made that happen. V-Bomb for West Virginia was holding as tight as she could. Now on a scoring pass, Varla Guns. She slides around V-Bomb on the inside. Still mired in the pack is JB.
There's lots of movement in that pack, quite the shuffle of blockers, and they are doing their best to hold JB back.
Well, JB has other ideas, and again, the pack play for Massachusetts in the early going is really setting the pace for this game, Banshee.
Oh, most definitely. It's a great combination of R2, Crew, Pena, and Hook.
We have a potential reversal of fortune out of play.
So it's a
contact called on Varla Guns.
And we know all it takes is one power jam to turn things around, especially in such a closely matched game.
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Cutting the track now is going to be called on JB. So we're going to have a little bit of a switcheroo of the jammers. We've got 30 seconds left on the jam clock, and we will see all of that action.
So Varla returns to the fun. Massachusetts returns to offense.
And we do have Guns breaking into V-Bomb, but making it past her, picking that 5 up in the sky.
V-Bomb called for a high block on that one. That one looked painful to me. Hook will be called off for a low block. A little high, a little low, and Varla Guns just continues to score, putting up 4 more at the end of the jam.
And she was definitely getting held up right at the end of the jam. by a nice 2-wall, actually a rear-facing 2-wall from West Virginia.
Takes a timeout, which allows us
West
to
Virginia
make some
calling
posters, but
time
first we're
right
going
now.
to
They
meet the
want to take some
Massachusetts
time
roster
and
because
regroup
they've
before
already
this thing,
threatened to
moves any further away from their grasp. Let's go down the officiating staff real quick. The head referee for this contest and the rear pack ref is Judge Double Wapner. Inside pack ref in the front is Access of Stevel. Our jam referees are Bob Lloyd and the Charminator. Outside pack referees, Organic Panic. This will be painful. And General Relativity, our alternative referee for this contest, is Shebra.
Oh, very nice. And we have a smattering of non-skating officials, including Tights McGee, Feral Bambi, Midnight Justice, Greaves, Slammerous, Varsity Brews, Hef, Woomarine, Frau Blusher, Stretch, Anya Arson, Mariah Scary, Sinister Serenity, Captain Cupcake, Stella Mac, Stat in the Hat, This'll Be Painful, Rio Copa, Magic Wand, Shebra, Krista Haviland, Levelyn Levi, Ferris Bruiser, Roman Justice, Michael Maton, Tort, Becken Hater, Boptimus Prime, I love that one, Baker Street G, Cherry Bomb, and Miss Vicus. And our head NSO is Wendy Blessing, also known as Statatouille.
And it's Rami Lammy now jamming for the Massachusetts team. She spurts through the pack, Flux Decapitator getting through. But, oh, look at this. We have talk about a wardrobe malfunction and a nice little job of blocking the helmet cover for a second there by Mega Psychotic.
Yeah, and Rami Lammy does manage to get that helmet cover back on, breaking past Flux Decapitator. Sorry, I always want to say Flux Capacitor, like Back to the Future.
But it's a 4-4 tie as a result of that. Well, who's to know how exactly a helmet cover does come off? But it certainly happens from time to time.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes the fabric, if it's super stretchy, and you don't quite get it on the back of the helmet, it can slip.
Yeah. Well, we're back alive 5 seconds before the jam begins. Deja Boom on the line for West Virginia. Is that hard times for Boston?
I do believe that
not
is
for Boston. Excuse me.
For Team Massachusetts. That is hard times of Boston Roller Derby, picking up lead, making it look easy getting through that pack.
Well, I misspoke. It's Belozabella jamming for West Virginia. She's still in the pack. Hard times gets a nice assist on the outside there. That was Kiltrosity doing that work.
Yes, and I actually wanted to point out, I hear that Kiltrosity's parents, Mama and Papa Kill, down in Fairhaven, Mass, are listening right now, so that move would definitely make them proud.
Well, it did, and the whip, it gets practiced probably more than in practice than it does used in a game, but it's always exciting to see.
Yes, and it's an incredibly useful skill. So when it's needed, oh yes.
Yeah, a little bit of eye contact there between Hard Times and Kiltrosity, and they pulled that off beautifully. I believe this time we are going to see Deja Boom jamming for West Virginia.
Excellent.
Flying King wearing the star for Massachusetts.
Doing a little shuffle there off the line, scooting around, and King picks up lead for Team Mass.
Lateral motion, the name of the game for Flying King.
Absolutely. They have some fantastic footwork skills.
That's a 5-point pass, and it was pretty, too. They made it look pretty.
Yes. Well, fun fact about Flying King. They, in another life before Derby, were in a figure skater on ice.
That does not surprise me a bit. Meanwhile, Deja Boom working the pack in the back, but she's called off for an illegal procedure during a star pass.
Yes, and that star pass went to number 24. That would be Rita Repulsa.
And she's going to be called off as well. Meanwhile, the points continue to add up for Massachusetts. Flying King surveying the scene.
For number 42 from Massachusetts.
Third pass in this jam. Scoring pass, and Flying King makes quick work of that inside line on turn 3. 5 more.
And there was some great assistance via offense from R2.
Is 19 so far.
Dr. Crusher now trying to marshal her forces for West Virginia.
Good Lord, it deserves it.
That'll force the call off, but not before Flying King picks up 5 more.
21 total.
You know, I think probably rooting for Massachusetts more than anybody is Team Maine, because if you look at our brackets,
Yes.
Team Maine would love to play Massachusetts again
I think
at
that's
2 o'clock.
I think that's what Massachusetts is hoping to accomplish. Massachusetts and Maine, they love each other. I think this would make 4 games. The fourth
one. I think it's the third one.
I
Third?
seem to
Okay.
remember from my days in Maine a certain slur that was directed at Mass people. I'm not going to repeat it on the air, but yes, they love to hate each other. That could be a big New England war at 2 o'clock if Massachusetts can prevail here.
Indeed, and just wanted to point out, it's official that Team Massachusetts has just passed the century mark with a score of 101 to 15.
Varla Guns puts up a few more points for Massachusetts. Bruziana was jamming there for West Virginia, but she got blanked out before she was able to get any points for West Virginia. And the ladies in yellow now, they have some work that they're going to need to accomplish. Not out of the realm of possibility for West Virginia, but boy, Massachusetts playing tough right now, Banshee.
Indeed. Out there in the pack, we've got Dorcas Maximus, Smashley Olsen, and Kiltrosity doing their damnedest to hold back number 77.
That's JB.
That's JB. So they were only able to hold her for so long as she emerges, but not before Rami Lammy pulls that call.
Rami Lammy has levitation on her side. I think gravity affects her differently from many of the other skaters.
Exactly. Last night we were discussing how there are a few skaters out there who have Gumby-like qualities. I think Rami Lammy is one of them.
Yeah, no pokey there.
No.
It's Flux Decapitator on the line now for West Virginia. Hard times for Massachusetts.
After the first jam, Massachusetts has gone on a
Hard
106
times.
to
It's hard times
11
for
runs since
West
jam
Virginia
2.
right now. You know they're tough and they
And
will
adding to
regroup.
the
But run to the
Massachusetts total,
outside
hard
is
times
Flux
who's got lead
Decapitator.
there.
Meanwhile, hard
And yeah,
times
hard
on a
times is
scoring
just
pass.
second wrong
Yes,
in terms of
and
the
initially Flux Decapitator was swept to the outside by Kowalski, but Flux is on hard times' side, literally, side by side, forcing the call off.
And Flux picked up 1 for her troubles, and there you go. That's something that we've seen. West Virginia has come to the Battle of the All-Stars all 3 years. Last year they left at the 9 seed. They came in this year at the 9 seed, but they play their hardest in every game. And you're going to continue to see the hits. You're going to continue to see the full-bore effort the whole way through this contest, no matter what the score is.
Absolutely. There is a great deal of hustle out there coming from West Virginia. I'm impressed.
Okay, coming through the pack, lead jammer for West Virginia. It's Blows Up Bella. Flying King still in the pack. She's working on JB, and they finally evade JB. Blows Up Bella on a scoring pass, hits the inside.
And before King can hit that back of the pack, West Virginia makes the call.
Blows Up Bella. Well, of course, we've got all-stars from all around the Northeast, essentially, all the way out to Ohio and all the way down to North Carolina. But that's the great thing about this particular tournament. Roller derby, I think, really lends itself to an all-star format.
Oh, absolutely. The mix of talent here is just incredible. And I cannot wait, say later today, in addition to the potential Maine Massachusetts matchup, there is definitely going to be a Team Maryland and Pennsylvania matchup. That's something I cannot wait. I think I'm going
it's
to.
actually Maryland and New York.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Virginia is going to be taking on Pennsylvania.
Virginia, Pennsylvania. I'm sorry. Guys, I need more coffee. Forgive me.
No problem. On the jam right now, it's Varla Guns for Massachusetts. She is scoring points. That's 5. Flux Decapitator working her way through the pack. Oh, and she's called for a cut on the inside line there.
As you can see, Dorcas Maximus signaling for the power jam.
My bad this time. It was a forearm penalty assessed on Flux Decapitator.
That's all right. I can honestly say, Gretchen, you're right on top of that, Rose. You've got this.
Well, the hand signal for the forearm, those of you who are, derby aficionados, I think everybody would agree, from time to time, the hand signal for forearm can be confused with cutting the track. Meanwhile, cutting the track is called on Varla Guns. We're going to have a complete 2-minute jam, 45 seconds left on the jam clock as Flux Decapitator rejoins the action.
This is why we love endurance, right?
That's why cardio is
Yes.
such a big part of every practice, because I tell people, think about sprinting for a full 2 minutes.
Exactly. And Flux Decapitator taken to the back of the pack, extending fully out from Pena Colada and R2.
She's going to pass the star, and that is Deja Boom. She puts the star on her helmet. She's having a wardrobe problem of her own. The stripe goes into the jersey, and the star goes on the helmet, and Deja Boom is ready to go.
Yes, and meanwhile, Varla Gun sprung out of the penalty box, manages to meet her right at jam's end.
Well, Deja Boom puts one more on the board for West Virginia.
And I'll tell you, Deja Boom, as soon as that star was passed to her, she exploded out of the pack. There's a lot of power in that very small skater.
Oh, yeah. Well, the low center of
Yes.
gravity, that's one of the other great things about roller derby, and especially in all-star format, because you see the best of each particular skating style. And the low center of gravity, boy, that's hard to beat in this sport.
Indeed.
It's Blozabella now wearing the star for West Virginia.
And that is Ramy Lammy fighting a 2-wall right at the front of the pack. But it's Ramy Lammy who picks up lead.
Not a big surprise. Ramy Lammy has really been showing a lot. How about that scoring pass?
Absolutely. A nice little jump on the apex from Ramy Lammy. She's known for that. And thank you for keeping it on our side of the track so we get a nice view.
Boy, Pawelski there doing a rollback along with 5 Penny on Blozabella. Blozabella's still getting her way, working her way through on an initial pass, and Pawelski and 5 Penny are just making her life a living hell right now.
I would love to see Blozabella's toe stops after this is all said and done. She is grinding those into the floor as she pushes that formidable 4-wall.
Well, Kultascaro is getting in on the action as well on the defensive end.
And Ramy Lammy was taken to the outside, driven to the back of the pack. That was by number 12, Bossy, aptly named.
Bossy and Ziegler
Yes.
doing some defensive work now on their own. Ramy Lammy tied up on the straightaway, but she's got lead jammer in her back pocket. She exercises her option and calls off the jam.
Yes. And I just want to point out a couple of things. I know that we've said that there are some people watching at home. Would like to send a quick shout out to Sixtat with Mass Attack. I know she's cheering on Dorcas Maximus and Kiltrosity along with the rest of Team Massachusetts.
How you doing? Hope you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
This is good action to start, and there's going to be great action all day long. We'll run down the brackets later on. we've got action to talk about right now. Dr. Crusher is wearing the star for West Virginia.
And Flying King spins around the West Virginia defense, picking up the lead and making it look pretty.
Well,
and they do it again. Amazing. Another 5 on the board for Team Mass. Meanwhile, lots of action in that pack.
yeah, it's taking all 4 blockers for Massachusetts to hold off Dr. Crusher, but they do it, and this results in a power jam for Flying King and Massachusetts.
Yes, but Dr. Crusher was smiling on her way to the box, so that's all that matters, right?
Absolutely. She probably got her licks in.
Oh,
Just saying.
most definitely. I saw a few hits being thrown there. She could throw a hip.
Now Flying King going to call off the jam, and that will preserve the power start on this next jam. Boy, can't say enough about Massachusetts right now as far as really keeping their heads and getting the maximum productivity out of their skaters.
Indeed. All right, lining up now for West Virginia. Oh,
Dr. Crusher in the penalty box still.
Yep, Dr. Crusher is in the penalty box, but we've got Bossy along with V-Bomb out there.
And this is Dorcas Maximus in her first jam of the game for Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. She is a great double threat, but many times exercising her strength as a blocker.
Oh, and when it goes bad for West Virginia. Illegal procedure called on Dr. Crusher as she was released from the pack. That's going to add to the power jam for Massachusetts.
Correct, and there is a little bit of speed picking up out there. Waiting to see what each line does next.
Well, Dorcas Maximus making the most of her first jamming opportunity again. She's going to preserve the power situation for the next start. This is actually working to Massachusetts' credit right now. They get the opportunity to put a couple of jammers out there that they may not normally run. And in a weekend-long tournament like this, you need everybody to be able to step up.
Exactly. There's some excellent diversity on each bench, and I can't wait to see a few surprises here and there. I do believe everyone's in for a treat. Also wanted to point out Team Massachusetts starting out with just 2 blockers. That would be the pivot, 5 Penny, and also Emily Kowalski.
Oh my gosh, that's Smashley Olsen. That's her first jam of the day, and she squirms through that tough 3 wall of West Virginia, picks up lead jammer. Bruziana now taking the star from Dr. Crusher for West Virginia. Nice rollback by Flux Decapitator. That'll force the call off.
It most absolutely does. And Smashley was driven to the back of the pack right before that jam's end. Seeing a lot of smart steps by her, as she bounced out quite a few times.
Yep. Well, again, this is all-star competition. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to see anybody on the jam line with a pivot stripe or in the pack who doesn't know exactly how to play every position on the track.
That's very true. We have some well-versed skaters. However, we know mistakes sometimes can be made.
We had a terrible towel being
pack advantage for Massachusetts right now.
Going crazy.
Flying King again wearing the star for the team from Massachusetts.
Flux Decapitator doing her part to hold King back, along with her pack mates taking King to the back, extending as far back as possible.
Yeah, that was V-Bomb with that rollback for West Virginia. Blozabella extending the pack at the front, but she's knocked out by hard times.
King breaks through and takes lead. Jammer.
Little bit of collision on the way to the penalty box with one of her teammates, Dr. Crusher.
Blozabella called off for cutting the track. That was hard times making that happen for Massachusetts. Another power jam for the ladies in the Navy. And Flying King has 5. They want more.
Oh, indeed. All of the points. Everybody wants all of the points. Oh, and something fun, Gretchen, from yesterday. I know that we were discussing how the colors are red and navy, and we kept hearing cranberry referenced on the house mic. There was clarification how the red that was selected wasn't quite the cranberry shade that they wanted, and how it worked well with the fact that cranberry is a state fruit or drink.
And that was a fact I did not know until yesterday when I was talking to some of the Massachusetts skaters. That's another great thing about a tournament like this is you, over the course of the weekend, you really get a chance to talk with these top-level skaters from all over the region. Oh, Flying King sticks the landing, has to regroup for a second, but that is 4 more for Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I do believe it was Cruliette Lewis who filled me in on the cranberry fact. And her mother and aunt are here to cheer her on, so it's always nice when you can have your support system in the house.
Well, we're at halftime right now. West Virginia may need to recalibrate their goals a little bit for this game. Massachusetts coming out on fire. Of course, they were seated in a superior position to West Virginia coming into this game. And, there's not much you can say. Massachusetts just is holding this game tightly in their grasp right now at halftime.
Indeed.
All right, so we're going to take a 10-minute break. We'll be back.
We're not sure if it has arrived yet. They might still be at the after party, too.
Okay, we are back here in Hatfield, Pennsylvania at the Battle of the All-Stars, our 8 a.m. game, Massachusetts versus West Virginia. Massachusetts getting the best of the action so far. Gotta say it, Banshee.
Yeah, and they are channeling their power, as you can see right now, a little circle of love out on the track before the second half begins. So while they're entertaining the small crowd, those brave souls who came out so early, I'm going to thank a few of our sponsors and vendors: 187 Killer Pads, helmets, pro knee pads, fly knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, knee gaskets, and recaps. All the things to keep our skaters safe out on the track. So thank you, 187. And the official sponsor of the Pennsylvania All-Stars, Apex Skate Shop. Roller derby sports equipment and apparel, owned and operated by Kick-Ash, Bourbon, T-Slam, and Shutterfly.
And you got to say a little something about the hosts of this tournament, Pennsylvania All-Stars and the Bucksmont Derby Dolls. Bucksmont, of course, is the most local league to Hatfield, and they have been just totally accommodating, making this tournament happen.
Absolutely. They've put forth quite the effort. So definitely support those Bucksmont Roller Derby Dolls.
And back to the action now. Deja Boom, captain for the West Virginia All-Stars, wearing the star, going against a three-wall of determined Massachusetts defenders up front.
And that is Cultascaro taking lead jammer, sneaking past that three-wall from West Virginia. But not to worry, West Virginia's jammer, number 33, not far behind. That is Deja Boom.
Oh, Cultascaro getting a little bit of a bump to the side there by Flux Decapitator, and Cultascaro's going, I like jamming, boom. I don't know if I like jamming as much as I thought I did.
A few questions perhaps popping into her mind.
This star isn't really quite what I thought it was. On the line now for West Virginia, we got JB.
And on the line for Team Massachusetts, we've got Smashley Olsen of Providence Roller Derby.
Yeah, Massachusetts, as we said, having the opportunity to go a little deeper into their jammer rotation. Smashley Olsen gets lead jammed quite quickly.
I know, not bad for someone who I believe either arrived overnight or first thing this morning. So she is in the house, zigzagging around.
She didn't get a chance to support her teammates yesterday, and she wants to.
Absolutely.
You've got a competitive spirit in order to be an all-star, and when you miss a day, I'm sure she kind of felt like she let her teammates down a little bit, and now she wants to show how much a part of this team she is.
Absolutely, but I'm pretty sure she was listening in yesterday and watching and cheering them on. So you know how it goes with schedules and having this volunteer effort, so it's pretty amazing.
Back to the action now. Looks like Bruziana is going to wear the star for West Virginia.
West Virginia trying to take the outside. Bruzy's doing her best.
Fierce three-wall up front. That's Kiltrosity, Five Penny, and Crulia Lewis.
Bruziana lead jammer, Dorcas Maximus in hot pursuit for Massachusetts. Bruziana and Dorcas Maximus going down.
Dorcas with the biggest smile I've seen on her face. That is some sportsmanship right there between both jammers, even with that nice big hit.
Well, it was 100% effort for both of them.
Yes.
And Bruziana came within a hair's breadth of completing that jammer takeout, but just lost her footing at the end and was forced to call it off from her back. That was fun.
Yes, it was fun for them out there. You could definitely tell.
It's 5-on-5 in the pack now as we get started.
Wearing the star for the first time today.
It is R2, and two lead jams in a row for West Virginia. Blows a Bella now in scoring position for the ladies in yellow.
And it's a bit of a swap because R2 is with the jammer star, and we see Rammy Lammy wearing the pivot cover.
Well, you know what that could mean later on in the jam. I would look for a star pass, perhaps.
Perhaps smell a star pass, but no, not quite. That ended quickly, but that's all right.
It was 4-3 on that one.
Yes, nice and close.
Yep, but a win for West Virginia. Again, two lead jams in a row, and that's what they have to do. They just have to build on small victories throughout this half because they're going to be playing again. They're going to be playing at noon. They can't have a letdown.
Exactly. And sometimes just that quick and dirty philosophy, get out there, get those points, end it. It just makes the most sense.
Well, now we got 3 lead jams in a row. Flux Decapitator out in front, although Smashley Olsen squeezes through. She's ahead, and that will force the call off.
And something I wanted to add, I know I've been giving you guys bits of information on the different leagues that make up Team Massachusetts. Providence Roller Derby, they have an event coming up called Get Gourd for Good, supporting the Amos House. And it's a fun event because it's almost a running of the bulls. The Derby skaters from Providence, they have helmets with horns and get all painted up, and there are runners who join in, I believe, for 5K, and they run with the bulls. So
And are they running or are they skating?
no, see, the skaters are skating, but they're the bulls on skates, and then there are runners running with them. So it's just a little fun
Do you
event.
know when that is?
I will get you a date. I'm sorry I didn't have that right in front of me, but I get a kick out of that whole concept.
That
for a
sounds
great
like
cause.
a good time. If you're in the area, it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor. We have an official review now being requested by West Virginia. West Virginia now sitting on a streak of 3 lead jams. Flux Decapitator appears to be, Blozabella will be jamming in this next one. And we do want you to, again, as Chad pointed out, we are looking as though we are going to have a good old New England face-off between Maine and Massachusetts. And if that does indeed take place, that will be at 2 p.m. today.
Yes.
So you want to make your plans right now. If you're a supporter of Maine or Massachusetts, 2 p.m. today, that could be a real Donnybrook.
Yes, it is a game to watch, just like many of the others here at Battle of the All-Stars. And just to bring it back, I had mentioned the Get Gourd for Good event in Providence, where you could have the roller derby bulls and run with them. That's happening on April 24th, and that supports the Amos House, which is a fantastic community organization. So getting back to a few sponsors during this timeout, we have food trucks here at Battle of the All-Stars provided by The Conspiracy. Food truck rotations, catering, commissary, and promotion services. You can reach them at 215-783-5710. I can tell you I had a fantastic portobello steak sandwich yesterday.
Yeah,
It was,
I heard you say conspiracy, and I was worried that it might be something like organized crime or
Well,
something. But it's a conspiracy for good. It's a conspiracy that actually, curates food trucks and assigns them to events. So instead of, what a great idea. It's like a middleman distributor concept where if you're going to have an event, all you got to do is call one person and they will get the food trucks to your location.
yes, and if the food conspiracy is wrong, I don't want to be right.
No, and it's one of many ideas that I wish I had come up with.
I know,
but
it's
how that goes.
genius. It's genius. And,
Yeah.
But we can appreciate it and enjoy all the delicious food they're bringing right to us at Battle of the All-Stars.
Well, speaking of, this is the 3rd annual, and it's somewhat annual because in 2013 the event took place in December, and that was fun. But 2014 came, and the decision was made we don't want to do it in December again. So is February 2015 was the 2nd, and now of course we're in February 2016, and this is the 3rd, and it's been growing and it's been exciting the whole time.
That's wonderful. This is actually my first foray with the Battle of the All-Stars tournament, so it's nice to hear a little bit of that history. And this is actually the first appearance for Team Massachusetts as well.
That's right.
And I believe Team Maine later on, who will play at 2 p.m., the winner of this game, it's also their first appearance.
And we are back to live action now. 5 Penny in her first jam. She asserts herself, picks up lead jammer, Blozabella, having some trouble right now. Run out by Flying King on the outside.
Here's 5 Penny puts up 5 points.
5 Penny in control of this jam right now for the ladies in Navy.
And a hook and hard times driving Blozabella to the rear of the pack, making sure they're getting that full extension for the engagement zone. And
Blozabella taking off the helmet cover right now. Ziegler is the pivot for West Virginia. She kind of took a look at Blozabella, said, listen, I got defense that I've got to play. So Blozabella now has the star stash working.
And after getting caught up by a two-wall of West Virginia's defenders, 5 Penny emerges. She was moving them. If you are watching, you'll see her stature may not be very large, but her power is incredible.
Well, you can see the legs always
Yes.
moving.
Always.
Five Penny's got a lot of energy and a lot of strength there. That's 5 more for Five Penny.
15
All right, Cruliette Lewis going to the box for Team Massachusetts. There she joins number 24, Rita Repulsa, for West Virginia.
Boy, and Five Penny really making the most of this first jam.
And
Finally completing the initial pass. Ziegler does take the star.
Yeah, so Ziegler got, and Penny calls off the jam.
You can hear it in the background. Penny
19
calling
pennies.
off the jam.
No, wait,
Big
that's more.
outburst for Five
19
Penny.
pennies.
My official stats
He's
have her
gonna
with
have to
24
change her
points
name.
on that jam.
And I do believe that is
All
the
right, so
the
good job
largest
by West
point
Virginia on
gaining
the start
jam so
pass.
far
Getting to
for Team
Ziegler, able to
Massachusetts.
end the penny run on the run on
212
pennies.
points now for Massachusetts, 25
Dorcas
for
Maximus
West
will be jamming
Virginia.
against the
West
captain,
Virginia sending their
Deja
captain,
Boom.
Deja Boom, to the
4-2
jam
advantage in
line.
the pack for West
She
Virginia.
finds a
And that
way
helps get the
on the
captain, Deja
inside,
Boom,
straight
through the
away.
pack.
Lead jammer for
And
West Virginia,
again
Deja
with
Boom.
lead
And we have
jam.
Dorcas Maximus wearing the star for Team Massachusetts,
Dorcas Maximus
but it
has been
appears
sent
that Dorcas
to
has
the penalty
picked up
box
a
for
forearm
donkey behavior,
call.
specifically a forearm.
Well, laying back right now in the passive offense is West Virginia, and it pays off. Deja Boom able to get through for 5. They asserted their pack advantage there and made the passive offense work. Now Flux Decapitator playing a little offense. I think, quite frankly, she needs to get in there and help Deja Boom.
Yes, because right now Deja Boom is fighting a full 4 wall from Team Mass as Hook returned to the track from the penalty box.
Well, and she may be talking about that. Could be part of West Virginia's strategy, though, and paying off as Deja Boom calling off the jam with the Massachusetts jammer still in the box. So it will be a power start for West Virginia.
And this could be just what they need to amp up the points and see exactly what's going to happen in the remainder of this game.
Well, and an old school pivot line start exhibited by Massachusetts. JB again wearing the star for West Virginia. Dorcas Maximus will be released from the penalty box right now for the ladies in Navy. Dorcas Maximus in the pack. JB lead jammer, West Virginia. Dorcas Maximus about half a track behind.
Making great strides, Dorcas is. But the quick call is made by West Virginia, preventing any points going on the board for Team Massachusetts.
Well, there again,
Yes.
it's all-star roller derby.
Absolutely.
You've got, JB showing her moves. That would be a highlight reel move in most regular season games. In the Battle of the All-Stars, it's just another jam. Wow.
Oh, absolutely. And you never know what you're going to see because the strategies change, especially if, where they're really using the full extent of their bench. It's quite the sight.
Yeah, those of you who watched to see how this Maine Massachusetts matchup is going to take place. Maine was in the battle of the tournament so far against New Jersey in the nightcap yesterday. New Jersey extended to the very limit, finally able to pull out the win against Maine. But Maine continued to cut into that New Jersey lead, almost pulled off the upset.
Yes, it was an exciting game to call last night as well as watch. And I believe that was New Jersey's first win here at Battle of the All-Stars. And it's something else I wanted to point out, Gretchen. When you mentioned the pivot line start in the previous jam last night, Champ Unkind has dubbed the pivot line the Champ Stamped pivot line, his own official sponsored line.
Well, if it works for him, I am 100% behind him.
I told him it needs a bow tie.
Bruziana, now lead jammer for West Virginia.
Smashley Olsen working past the West Virginia defense, breaking through without lead. Meanwhile, our West Virginia jammer is getting quite a few big hits coming from Team Massachusetts, but she plows through.
She's going to call off the jam. Did she get it in time? That's the question.
5 points.
She picks up 5.
Calls it off.
Big jam for Brusiana. We're looking for, it's 3 on the back for Smashley Olsen. Smashley Olsen skating till that last whistle.
Absolutely.
And, that's the thing again. You can say it, you almost can't say it enough. One of the great things about watching the Battle of the All-Stars is you are...
penalty box in Jammer Jail for crimes and misdemeanors committed against the
Smashley Olsen
Derby
called
community.
to the penalty box. You can hear it in the background. At the end of that jam, Blozabella now jamming for West Virginia.
And the house announcers perhaps assessing her crimes and misdemeanors on the Derby track. No.
No, it's just
cute.
another foul.
I know, it's fun.
Nice work there by Pena Colida and Hard Times teaming up on the jammer takeout. Blozabella working the front of the pack again.
Massachusetts has actually been held scoreless, but of course you can't
Power jam
hold
is
back
over. Smashley Olsen working the back of the track as well.
Okay, but Smashley is out.
Oh, and we
of
have
Jammer
a
Jail.
power
Looks like
jam
Hard
going
Times
the
is going to
other
sit in the
way
corner
now.
box.
The Team Massachusetts 3-wall sweeping Blozabella from side to side until they're broken up just a bit, and she's able to emerge and hand off the
was
star.
passed. My bad.
Yes. We have that pass to JB, number 77 for West Virginia,
And
with
she
an-
tries to jump the apex,
with
but got
another
taken
4
out
points for Smashley Olsen and Team
by Penny,
Massachusetts.
the aforementioned
Well, JB is really turning it on in this second half, not only as a defensive player, but as a jammer for West Virginia. You're seeing her try stuff that maybe she doesn't always try, but I tell you what, JB's got a lot of power, a lot of speed, and a lot of athleticism.
Indeed, and we definitely witnessed that in the prior matchups with Ohio.
Team Mass, another
JB
4
puts up
points.
4.
There for
Smashley
Team West
Olsen in
Virginia.
front with 4 as well. We got 19 seconds left on the jam clock. A lot of time left, Banshee.
Yes, and Smashley is taken down by the West Virginia defense. It looks like we had a low block call on number 69, Blozabella.
As we will
Yeah,
lose the
Smashley just,
Massachusetts.
she's got really good balance.
Smashley, another 4
Again,
points.
that nice low center of gravity, making full use of it.
3 more on the back end put up by JB. Couple of big contests in the winners bracket this afternoon. We're going to see Maryland taking on New York, followed by Pennsylvania versus Virginia. Virginia All-Stars, of course, were the ones that took out Massachusetts yesterday.
Yes.
Virginia All-Stars showing some really strong derby.
Yes, and there were just some of the hits from Bouncy, 40-ounce bounce, incredible, amongst other highlights of that game.
Well, Ramy Lammy comes back with the star for Massachusetts, immediately picks up lead jam.
Yes, and we have West Virginia battling a line of Boston roller derby blockers out of that mix. So it just happens that Hook and R2 and Powolski and crew are all rostered with Boston roller derby.
Well,
And
excuse me, you see them setting up that 4 wall. You could tell they'd done that before. They've probably worked on that in practice a few times.
Absolutely. And just the one quick thing I wanted to mention, Boston Roller Derby's Massacre, their A-team, they are now ranked at 21 in the WFTDA, and I believe that is the highest placement per what Five Penny advised me right before the game. So just wanted to give them a little love.
Always, always. Pinch, pinch, pinch.
It's what we do.
All right, back to the action now. It is tough in the front of the pack. Dorcas Maximus again picks up lead for Massachusetts. Blozabella not far behind for West Virginia.
Yes, and something interesting as we were talking about the different styles of skating and the stance, you'll notice with Dorcas's style, she has a little jukiness, a little hop, almost comparable to someone who might play roller hockey, and she does have that as part of her experience pre-derby. She was known for playing roller hockey and rugby, for that matter.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
No stranger to contact sports.
No.
Is Dorcas Maximus.
Deja Boom.
Okay, the captain for West Virginia is wearing the star again. That's Deja Boom. We've got 5-on-5 roller derby. It's been a fairly clean contest, although the penalty box has seen a little bit of action.
Just a little. You got to keep the seats warm just enough.
It's not fun if you don't get called once in a while. Okay, it's 5 penny jamming, and she is rolled back way behind the start line by Flux Capacitator, or Flux Decapitator. Now you got me doing it.
I'm
Banshee.
sorry, it's my fault. Meanwhile, at that front of the pack, Hook and I believe R2, or perhaps is that, it's Hard Times, in the pivot stripe off to the box. I think that was an out of play. No, that is Hard Times. They were holding the West Virginia Jammer for quite a bit.
Deja Boom. She is in scoring position. Now she's got a decision to make. She makes it. She calls it off. She ought to get a couple. Ooh, a cruel jam referee there, not giving any love to Deja Boom. Of course, he had the best angle. We're looking at it from the side view, whereas he was looking directly at the blocker's hips. And I'm sure it was clear that there were no points picked up by Deja Boom. She was more concerned with the oncoming Massachusetts Jammer. That's why she had to call it off.
Exactly.
Advantage West Virginia.
Okay, we got R2 now jamming for Massachusetts, JB for West Virginia, and R2 lead jammer, ladies in Navy.
Yes, and speaking of those ladies in Navy, there was a great backwards block by Powolski holding off our West Virginia jammer, but she is sent to the penalty box, I believe, on a clockwise block.
Well, the curse, as Boston people may talk about a curse, and the announcer curse is that normally when you say something's going a certain way, immediately things change. And that's kind of what happened now. We said it hasn't been too many penalties in this game. And there were a few penalties in that last jam. And this next jam's going to start on a 3-3 pack. Smashley Olsen ready to go again for Massachusetts. Bruziana once again jamming for West Virginia.
The West Virginia defense had it out for Smashley Olsen. She sneaks by on the inside line, picking up a lead.
It was a high block called on Bruziana, so now we have a power jam for Massachusetts.
Power jam and lead jammer for Smashley.
And we see a trap from Hook and Ramy Lammy and Kiltrosity taking back one of the West Virginia blockers. I believe that is number 6. That would be Dingleberry that they are holding to define the pack.
Oh, and Smashley Olsen going to call off the jam. She wants to hold that jammer for one more start. Massachusetts on 250 right now. Boy, West Virginia put together a nice little run at the beginning of this second period. Got lead jammer 3 in a row, but Massachusetts has kind of stomped that down a little bit in the last 10 minutes, and they're asserting themselves again.
Yes, and as you can hear over the house mic, that is Dorcas Maximus jamming once again with Flying King as her pivot. Battling the 4-wall at the front of the pack. Some quick feet.
Power jam over Bruziana. Work in the back of the pack.
Yes, and that is a tough wall, but Bruziana is powering it and giving it a great push. And Dorcas does pick up a lead, making her pass.
Dorcas goes airborne. It works for her. She gets 4. She calls it off. Bruziana gives Dorcas Maximus a little bit of a low 5 there. Again, lots of respect between all these skaters, and that's always a good thing to see.
Absolutely. You do see lots of what we call derby love, which is mutual respect, and also love for the game, because it's so much fun, as it should be.
Flux Decapitator ready to jam for West Virginia.
Oh, and I do believe for the first time during this game, we have Bella Labral wearing the star for Team Massachusetts.
Well, again, and Bella Labral showing what she's got.
I have blocked against Bella, and It was a challenge, at very least.
I can imagine Bella LeBron just forcing the action now. She's going to call it off, but that's a productive jam in the first of the contest for Bella LeBron.
Somebody in the box, not sure who is being sent.
Speaking of Bellas, Beloza Bella is rolling her way to the jam line for West Virginia.
And I didn't see it, but somehow Varla Guns ended up in the penalty box. But that's okay. She's still smiling. We're all having a good time. And I found out that yesterday we know that Mama Guns was watching. Turns out both Mama and Papa Guns are watching. So hi, Mama and Papa Guns from Varla and from all of us here at Battle of the All-Stars.
Okay, it's Kiltrosity in her first jam of the contest. She picks up lead jam, blows up Bella, gets through the pack as well.
Kill is a great mix. I'm not biased at all. She is a great mix for blocker and jammer. We like to call her glamorous at Mass Attack Roller Derby, so it's nice to see her being able to wear the star.
How long has Mass Attack been in existence now, Banshee?
Well, Mass Attack started in 2011. The Mass Attack All-Stars joined the WFTDA. We were accepted as a member league in mid-2014.
That's pretty quick work.
Yeah, it was something we wanted, and right now Mass Attack All-Stars, Kill and Dorcas's team, is ranked at 209.
That is very impressive indeed, and out in front, 5 Penny picks up lead jammer for Massachusetts. Oh, and Rami Lammy with a beautiful jammer takedown on Bruziana. 5 Penny pinballing her way through that wall of gold.
Bruziana doing her best to get past Smashley, Powolski, and Hook. She is taken to the outside and with the drawback from Powolski.
Well, it's getting a little physical right now, but it often does at the end of a game, Banshee.
Most definitely. It's pretty much when everybody just goes crazy, but within reason, of course.
Oh yeah. Not saying anything other than it's like, hey, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
You know,
we've only got
go
7
big.
minutes left.
Yep.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home. That's right.
JB putting the star on her helmet for West Virginia.
Yep, and JB is facing off against R2. And if you are familiar, R2, her full skater name, has also been known as R2 Detonate. So a little homage to Star Wars.
Well, it's 3-on-3 in the pack. Nice work there. That was V-Bomb taking R2 all the way back. Let's see if J-Bomb can take advantage.
And that was a great sweep on JB coming from Varla Guns on Team Mass, fully utilizing Bella LeBron in front of her to stabilize.
Boy, V-Bomb was doing all she could for West Virginia, but R2 able to finally get through, pick up lead jammer.
Mm-hmm. And JB is not far behind.
Penalty box has been emptied. It's 5-on-5. R2 going to call it off. What did she get? She got 3.
And while we have a quick moment, wanted to give a shout out to LuLaRoe Clothing, one of our vendors here at Battle of the All-Stars. They specialize in women's skirts, dresses, and leggings. So if you are here in-house, go check them out in the vendor village. Otherwise, make sure to check them out online, LuLaRoe Clothing.
Kiltrosity going to go again for Massachusetts against the captain of the West Virginia All-Stars, Deja Boom.
For this, the first
5-on-5 in the pack.
And the drawback on Kiltrosity from Flux Decapitator. But she gets right back at it with an apex jump, but doesn't quite make the line. So she is back to getting behind West Virginia.
Well, both teams concentrating on defense right now. Who's got the more solid wall? That's the answer.
Indeed.
Deja Boom gets through lead jammer, as so often happens when you've got wall versus wall. All of a sudden, something breaks down, and both jammers get through.
Indeed. Kills maybe less than a quarter lap behind her.
Deja Boom
Emphatically calling off that jam. She picks up 2. And again, West Virginia just wants to continue to put up some points. Stay loose, stay focused. They've got another game to play later on today, I believe at noon.
Yes.
And so, hey, there's nothing to get down about, and they certainly want to keep their positive attitude.
Absolutely. Yeah, we at Mass Attack, we call it PMA, positive mental attitude. So one of our skaters brought that up, and I think it's a great way to be. And that is number 69, Blozabella, jamming for West Virginia. She is swept to the outside by Hook, and the drawback from Varla Guns.
I tell you, this Massachusetts team has a pleasant surprise in the jamming skills of Smashley Olsen in this game. Oh, and of course, now she's called off for cutting the track. Power jam, West Virginia. Blozabella, and she is exhorting the crowd. She's saying, hey, how about me? How about these West Virginia All-Stars?
That was fantastic.
Again, West Virginia, depending upon that passive offense, now we got some offense coming in from Bossy.
For West Virginia, they're going to score in back-to-back jams thanks to the lead.
And a little chaos brought from her pack. Blozabella making some progress, but then the Team Mass blocking line recycles her. She is swept to the outside. Ramy Lammy off to the penalty box. Didn't catch the call on that.
Well, Blozabella with a little hesitation there, but she gets her 5 points. Those were 5 hard-earned points there, Banshee.
Oh, most definitely, Gretchen.
Okay, we're down to 3:05. 3 minutes and some change left.
7 points over the last 2 jams.
Couple of jams at least still to come. We've got Bella DeBrawl again jamming for the Massachusetts All-Stars versus Flux Decapitator for the West Virginia gang.
Yes, and West Virginia starting out with a full 4 blockers. Team Mass down 1 as Ramy Lammy, the pivot, is holding space in the penalty box.
Well, beating the odds, Bella DeBrawl takes the inside line on turn 1. She is lead jammer.
The clock is not
Looks like Flux Decapitator not far behind, finally breaking through that pack. A little bit of speed picking up out there.
And it's still
now Bella DeBrawl just really showing the jamming chops. She's just the second one. And she milks the clock, calls off the jam. Flux Decapitator was skating to the last whistle, but Bella DeBrawl timed that perfectly.
So we need to do an official something or other.
Okay, as you may have heard on the house mic, there was some confusion about the official clock being started during that jam, and so the head referee and NSOs are going to take an opportunity to look over that. What game do we have coming up next, Banshee?
Well, at noon, we are going to have West Virginia taking on, I'm just double checking here, taking on the loser of game 9. Oh, I apologize. So this is game 8. I looked at my bracket, and it was a little off. So next game is game 9.
That'll be North Carolina and
Ohio. Right.
Yeah.
And after that is, I was getting ahead of myself. Sorry, guys.
The loser of that one will take on West Virginia.
Correct. And then the 2 o'clock, when I'll be back on the stream, we will have Team Massachusetts taking on Team Maine.
Yeah, at this point, I think we can safely say that Massachusetts will be the eventual winner of this contest. And that at 2 o'clock again. If you are in the Northeast, set your clock. Maybe go out and do your grocery shopping now or whatever, so that you have a completely free afternoon to see this Donnybrook between Maine and Massachusetts. It really is. That'll be exciting.
Absolutely. But I'm actually excited for the North Carolina and Ohio game. North Carolina taking on Pennsylvania last night. It was just a battle royale. You saw all of the heart, everything North Carolina had, they put out on the track. I was sitting next to their bench while watching, and just the passion, and you see it all throughout this level of play. But in particular, North Carolina last night, their strategy to start the game caused Pennsylvania to make some changes.
It really did. I was a fan for that game, and it was. And, it's one of the things in this all-star format, again, when you have some of the higher-seeded teams, they approach the games maybe a little bit differently, but when you have a team gunning for you, like North Carolina was gunning for Pennsylvania, it can throw you off your stated objective.
Absolutely. And, I think it sort of forced Pennsylvania's hand in a way. It led to Pennsylvania's victory. But I don't think the intent for some of the big guns necessarily to be played initially, say V-Diva jamming, and she's wonderful. But I don't think that was part of the initial plan. And because of North Carolina just right out of the gate gunning for Pennsylvania, it forced it and then led to a really intense game.
Yeah, and then coming up a couple of the afternoon contests in the winner's bracket. Again, Maryland and New York. That's not one to miss. That's the last couple of years, that's been one of the most intense, exciting games of the weekend. And it just seems that it's shaken out that way in the brackets. Maryland and New York. You don't want to miss that one. That's at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, Pennsylvania and Virginia.
Yes. It's an excellent day for Derby.
We're back to the action now. The official clock has been taken down for a second, but hey, that doesn't matter. The skaters are skating, the officials are officiating, and we're having a good time.
Yes, we are.
It's Deja Boom pushing the front of the pack now in a power jam for West Virginia, but boy, Massachusetts doing a good job of killing that penalty.
Indeed. And just in case you missed it, Bohemian Blasphemy of West Virginia was sent to the penalty box. She picked up a clockwise block.
Finally through now, Deja Boom. She's going to have a chance to score a couple more at least. Now with the star on their helmet, this is Hook.
Yes. It'll be nice to see what Hook can do coming through the pack, as Hook has definitely been a force out in the pack blocking. Well, it's nice to see what else they bring to the table.
Deja Boom saw Hook breathing down her neck as well and said, I'm going to call this one off. That may do it for this. I see 23 seconds on the clock. Well, I'm hearing from the house microphone now that it's 50 seconds left. Again, we're having some technical difficulties in the house with the scoreboard. But we've got action now. This could be the last jam of the contest. And out in front is Varla Guns getting one done for Mom and Pop. She's the lead jammer for Massachusetts. Blozabella wearing the star for West Virginia.
And Cruliet Lewis stringing back to bring Blozabella to the rear.
Again, this is likely the final jam of
Well, 5 points in her back pocket. Varla Guns looking for more now.
At about the 2-minute mark
She and Bruziana getting into it up front, but Varla Guns, that's 5 more solid points for Massachusetts.
Hard times with a nice assist on a hit from Cruliet Lewis, able to sweep out Blozabella. Looks like we've got a panty stash happening.
Well, Blozabella holding on to the helmet cover, and she's able to pass it to Flux Decapitator. Let's see what Flux Decapitator can do. This is a brutal Massachusetts defensive line.
Yes, and it looks like Flux took a quick second to adjust some gear and making a calm, calculated step before throwing that star on, but is swept to the outside by Flying King, and Flying King taking that drawback as well.
Well, Varla Guns was sent to the penalty box with 15 points in her pocket, so this will end the game with Flux Decapitator now as jammer of record. She's still not put any points, but she will be engaging the pack here.
Jammer of record, that sounds like a government official. Can we make that a thing?
You have to have a particular jammer ID that you put in. There's 4 whistles. That will do it. Flux Decapitator does get 4 points at the back end. This could be the final game. This could be it for the game. Again, little technical difficulties with the house scoreboard. I'm sure they will get that taken care of in between games.
Yes, it appears we have a group of capable officials working on that matter right now. So thank you again. That was quite the game.
It was. You know, West Virginia, I'm looking over at Ziegler. She's got a smile on her face. They got their licks in. West Virginia is happy to be here playing some roller derby, and they have another game coming up at noon. They're going to play the loser of North Carolina versus Ohio.
Go ahead and take your victory lap.
Okay, we do have the official final score. It's 291 Team Massachusetts, 64 for Team West Virginia. Congratulations as Team Massachusetts emerges to that Donnybrook, as said by Gretchen, up against Team Maine at 2 o'clock. But also West Virginia moving on. Oh, and Varla Guns is wearing the Massachusetts flag.
Well, hey, you know, and she deserves to. That was an excellent game played by the Massachusetts All-Stars. And we've got a West Virginia flag as well. That is being brandished by Captain McClure of the Greenbrier River Rollers. And these ladies in gold deserve their lap of love as well. You see the Massachusetts skaters making a bridge. And again, this is what we love about roller derby. The game was tough. Boy, there were some solid hits delivered all the way through. And now that it's over, hey, let's show some respect. Let's show how much we love this game.
Exactly. It's always important to celebrate each other's successes, and that has been done today and will happen again and again. So it's been a pleasure, Gretchen. Thank you for hanging out with me on this call, and thank you, Chad, with a New England Derby Report.
We'll wrap things up, and we'll be back probably about a half an hour.
All right.
Come get your very valuable medals.